presented in the 1997 book, The Four Agreements, and would like to share some of its key points with you today. The Four Agreements, Steve Myers, The Four Agreements.
First of all, the rumors of my sobriety have been greatly exaggerated. But that's what we think of when we talk pirates, isn't it? Drunken pilferers, rapers, doing the nastiest deeds on the dirtiest of waters. Why do we think that? We were told to think that since we were children, right? That's how this earth is. It comes with a bunch of stories. You heard stories from your mum, from school, from PBS television, movies, texts, messaging. You're full of messages. And these have been telling you a story. What we think of the world, what we think the world thinks about us, is primarily poppycock. And you heard it here on this pulpit. Before we were born, there were institutions, religions, fables, mythology, who decorated the world, and the people who were born merely adopted those as truths. Writers, they depict the conflict of this life as one of good and evil. But I tell you, it is this. It's truth and lies. How do we go about discerning where we are in this? Well, we look back 500 years, 800 years. It's pretty obvious that those blokes had grown up in a world that was filled with lies. Lies that taught them to behave certain ways, to stay in certain caste systems, to honor certain statues or pontiffs, kings. They were all systems that they adopted. Why? They didn't stop to think about it. They were fish who did not realize that they were in the water. Are we different? I'd suggest we're not. We're just swimming in different waters. If you don't stop to ask yourself why you think the way you think, why you fear the way you fear, why you passion after the things that make you impassioned, then you'll probably continue on with the same set of assumptions that have driven mankind for decades upon centuries upon millennia. I had the great pleasure of pirating in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean we have a lot of influence. The Mexican nations that grew up there were some of the greatest, strongest, powerful nations on the earth at the time. They were powerful, that is, until they caught their big STD. It stands for Spanish Transmitted Diseases. Captain Cortez, he found a gold mine there, and he did some very awful raping, pillaging, destroying, genocide style. So much of the greatness that was of the ancient Mexican cultures. Some of those people were called the Toltecs. The Toltecs were the giant nation. Toltecs were a class of people. They were the scientists, the artists, the holy men, the visionaries. What happened to them when the Spanish came and plundered their country? Well, they went underground, only to emerge centuries later. And now, the Toltec wisdom is here. And they have purported 4 agreements that we can take upon ourselves. Drop so much of what's been forced upon us. Consider these. Now I'll go about them in order. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Impeccable. It's nothing to do with the word pecker. Impeccable, sinless. No error, no flaw, no guile. Why? There's enough of that blarney floating around. If we don't speak truth to each other, we're just decorating each other's misconceptions continuing in our dream. The impeccability of your word is a strength. Pirates have been known to do some untasty deeds. But when we gave our word was our bond. And those around us could fix their picture of life, of the world, according to our word. The next point, don't take anything personally. You walk around dressed in a certain way, some people will cringe their faces at you, judge you. Why? I don't know why. They've been taught that you're nasty. I get this a lot as a pirate. They've been taught that you're dangerous, that you're dirty, that you're to be avoided. The pariahs of the high seas. Do I take it personally? I used to. But then I realized that what their opinion is a function of all the lies that they've been fed throughout their life. If they chose to believe that, why should I be obliged to cater to their assumption about me? They don't like me, they don't like what I'm doing, it's because of how they were raised. It's because of the dream that they live in. Number 3, do not make assumptions. Me thinking what he might think of me gets pretty confusing. If I assume we understand each other, but he's harboring some ill will, we don't clear this up, we will have conflict. We will have confusion. We will have trust that is broken on things he never agreed on. We should not assume. We should talk. Have it out like men. Slap it down on the table, mate. Let's have this out. We know where you stand, I'll tell you where I stand. This could be with our employer, our children, wives. We spend so much time generating drama, thinking we know what other people are thinking. It's foolishness. Poppycock, I say. Number 4. Oh, my trick pinky. Number 4. Always do your best. Always do your best. You are here. Let me give you a hint. This world we're on has been spinning for a long time. How long? I don't know. I'm just here now. And all I quickly to realize that the sun rises and falls. The seas have their tides and their ebb tides. The land populates with plants and dies with fire. All outside of my influence. I hate to break this to you, but the world does not need us. We're superfluous. Not to sound foreboding about a uselessness. We're here. Why? It is not to perpetuate our own planet. Our own existence was given to us. We are here to enjoy it. One of the deepest, darkest, saddest moments I've had as a pirate is watching other pirates die. And in those last moments, they utter their regrets in a sad way that there's no consolation for them. Don't go to the end saying, I should have been a better employee. I should have been a better husband. I should have been a better father. Living away with no regrets. That scramble, trying to catch up, is useless. Your life is organic. You can't plant it all in August and reap in September. By doing your best. Now, if you've just been in a sword fight and your eye's been plucked out, perhaps your best is half of what it used to be. But it is your best at that moment. And if you live your life with putting forth your best, there's no regret to go back. When a young man suitor comes to date with my daughter, I meet him at the door with this bamboo. Why? Because the damn TSA wouldn't let me check my sword through. I look into that young man's eyes and I say, I give you a mandate, young man. You're taking out my daughter. This is my treasure. Protect her honor. And I feel at liberty to extend that mandate to a young boy who might be a stranger. Why? Because in protecting her honor, he will only protect his own. Yo ho ho, the pirate's life for me.
Thank you, Captain Myers. Our next speaker today is Michael Kors. Evaluating Michael